Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How y'all doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my project pan update for the month of October and I hope that you're here for it. This is my completionist project, so everything that I roll into this project I am looking to complete by the end of the year, and we have done some really great things this year in Project Pan. I'm super excited to walk through it at the end of the year and see where we're at, or see where we ended anyways, because I feel like I'm running out of things on my plan to pan list that I can actually pan. As a matter of fact, I do have some roll-ins this month, and the things that I'm rolling in aren't even on this plan to pan list because everything else on this plan to pan list I already have multiple of in my projects already. So that said, I hope that you're here for it. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. And ultimately, this is my self-care. This coming out here talking to you guys on the YouTubes is what I do to soothe my soul, warm my heart, and I just love being here with you. So I hope that you love being here with me as well. And at the end of the day, I do hope that you'll want to subscribe before you go, because I'm trying to hit 2K this year and we're almost there. So I would love it if we could do that. And if not, and you just find yourself coming back, that's okay too. And that said, let's roll into this project pan. I have a lot of updates and I cannot wait to talk to you all about them. Last month, we did some really great things. I ended up finishing up a foundation that had been in here forever. And I rolled in 2 other items, so 3 items total got rolled in last month. None of those are going anywhere this month, but I do have some really great progress on a lot of these items. Just really fine-tuned and focused hard on the items that were in my project pan to the extent that a lot of stuff went untouched in like my shop, my stash, or my deck of panning also. So there's that. Really hard focus on one item specifically because I knew it was super close. Although when we get there, you might think I cheated a little bit because I did pull the rest out and not use it, but I just wanted to see how far down it went. That said, let's not keep the suspense going forever. Let's just start this. So the first product we have here is this. This is the Laneige Lip Treatment Mask, and this is different than the Lip Sleepy Mask. This isn't like something to be worn like overnight, right, to hydrate your lips. This is actually for damaged lips. It is, anyways, my understanding of it. It does have a little like thing here that you can pull out of the cap. I can't find this anywhere when I go to link it, but there is something very similar also by Laneige linked in its place. I got this in a FabFitFun. Instantly fell in love with it. Really liked it a lot, but it is the world's biggest lip treatment mask on the planet. And it was nearly full when we rolled it in initially. I do think we rolled it in initially last year into Project Pan. And for the items that I did not complete in the year's previous Project Pan, I do roll them into my New Year's Project Pan. I do start my Project Pans over every single year for whatever reason. This did have, I think, it maybe at that point in time had a little bit of a pan going on it, but it rolled in at the beginning of the year with 39.29 grams of product in it in January. Last month it weighed 37.40 grams of product, and this month it weighs 36.41 grams of product. So we used almost an entire gram of product. 0.99 grams of product were used in the last 30 days. And this is what we're sitting like at now. And you guys will also see the B-roll. I think it looks really well used. So last month I feel like I used it a lot too and didn't see as much weight change in it as I did this month for sure. But I remember when this was still at the top. I remember when, you know, the sides of it were also still at the top. So we're starting to wear away. Like the pan at the bottom isn't getting much bigger, but we can definitely see some disturbance in the rest of the product, which makes me super happy. Do I think this is going anywhere anytime soon? Probably not. But I do I am really super excited about the progress that we have made on it, and I do foresee it being gone very early next year, maybe not this year. That said, if the product that I do have linked in place for this is anything like this one, you're definitely getting your money's worth for the product, because I have been using this really consistently for at least the last year and a half, and it's still going strong. It doesn't smell, it still performs really well. My lips haven't broke out because of it. It actually has a really nice, like, pleasant, almost fruity candy kind of scent, like almost like a taffy kind of scent to it. I really like this over the top of even just a lip liner during the day, because it has a nice kind of like iridescence to it that just makes the lips look really, really nice. So I do wear this quite often and am pretty pleased with the amount of progress that we're seeing on it. It does sit downstairs at my work desk so that I am reminded every single day to use it. The next thing we have is the Makeup by Mario Sculpt Stick. And if you're new here, for those of you that are not new, I'm not going to go into this wholeheartedly, but I had a Makeup by Mario Sculpt Stick. It broke. The component no longer works, so I dug it out and I put it into 2 other containers because I liked the product and I wanted to get use out of it. This is the second container. We did empty one last year in Project Pan, and this one I started also last year in Project Pan, but it rolled into this year's Project Pan bright and early in January. And when we did that, it was still rather full, and you guys can see right now it is not full anymore. And I have melted this down flat twice now, I do believe, and this is where we're at. So I'm really super excited about the progress in this. I do, for the first time, I think, feel like I could have this gone by the end of the year. I do think that I'm going to melt it flat one more time, because I think that it's really hard to get up on the edges of the walls with my brush that I use to use this product. So I am going to melt it down, I think, today after this video, and we'll go from there. This did weigh 44.96 grams of product when we rolled it in January. Last month it weighed 40.66 grams of product, and this month it weighs 40.05 grams of product for a 0.61 gram usage in the last 30 days. And I think that sounds pretty fair. I didn't like super hard focus on this product, but I do feel like that has been about the right amount month over month over month that we're using. And this is in a glass component, so I know the component in and of itself, quite a bit of that 40.05 grams of product is weight from the component. I think if I melt it down just one more time, that we're going to see it gone by the end of the year, and that is fantastic. The next thing would be the Clinique Almost lipstick, and this is the one that I think that you guys might think I was cheating on, but I promise you, I used everything that I could touch with my own lips without digging it out, and I only rolled it in March because I had received in January a backup in gratis in January before I got laid off from my job. So I rolled this in because it was open, it was being used already, and I wanted to make room for the new one that I had. This weighed 2.75 grams of product when we rolled it in. It weighed 11.03 grams of product last month, and this month it weighed 10.03 grams. So exactly 1 gram was what remained month over month above the like metal piece here for me to use. When it became flat and I couldn't get it on my lips anymore without putting my finger into it and digging it out, I think I did that like twice, and I was like, screw that, I'm done. This is an empty product. But then I decided to take my spatula and dig it out and see how much was left in there. And there was actually quite a bit left in there, but I didn't save it and use it. When I get to the point where a normal consumer would stop using a product, that's when I consider that product done. And I can't in a billion years fathom my mother or my sister or my niece scraping out the rest of this product to get the rest of the use out of it like I did. So we're gonna say I completed it. I did that. I finished this product, but I was super stoked to have it gone this month. As I said, we rolled it in March, so it took 7 months of like super focus, and this month specifically, this last 30 days specifically, was hard focused on it so that I could get it done. And we used 1 gram total lip product. I was using this every day, reapplying it every day. I think the last time that I dipped into it, and that was the time that I had to dip into it with my finger just to put a little bit extra on during the day at some point, because it did live in my purse at that point in time, was the 24th of September. So this lasted almost 7 full months in this project pan, and I am so stoked to have this out of my collection and be able to open up the brand new one. Now, here's a thought for you too, words of wisdom. I don't know that I want the other one anymore after using this. Yes, I think it's beautiful and I liked using it and it felt good on my lips, but I also, 7 months in, am sick of this product. If it was the only lipstick that I had, or the only almost lipstick, the only like glossy lippy balm that I had, I might open that other one and put it into my collection, but I'm just unsure that I want that anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the brand new one that I have in my collection, but this one is gone. So I'm so excited about that. And again, it weighs 10.03 grams, completely cleaned out. The next product I rolled in May, and it was the ColourPop lippy liner, and I think I rolled this in to replace another lip liner that I had in. And I like the ColourPop lip liners, although I am learning on my journey through makeup that it's not necessarily as good as I thought it was way back when. It is what is on my lips today. I do like the color of this one. It reminds me a lot of Iconic Nude by Charlotte Tilbury. It's just very, very my lips but better kind of shade to it. And I do think that I say this every single time, I did a lip liner find the dupe for Iconic Nude video way back when, and this was like the #1 dupe for that shade in my humble opinion. This is where we're at with this pencil right now. And I do also have the tracker that I'll show you and some B-roll that I'll show you of the little like lead pulled out of here as well, so that you guys can see just how little we have left. I mean, yes, the pencil is this long, but I think the lead only goes to like maybe here. Maybe. So I think I've got maybe 2 sharpens left out of it, and I sharpen twice probably in 30 days time. If I'm using it, you know, every day, I might sharpen it 3 times in 30 days time. So I don't think that this will last through the end of next month. I think I'll be done with this towards the end of next month, if not sooner. I do wear it quite often. This did weigh 5.63 grams of product when we rolled it in May. It weighed 4.11 grams last month. It weighs 3.44 grams this month for a usage of 0.67 grams of product, which is pretty fair for what I typically do with this lip liner. It is, like I said, almost an everyday use lip liner, and I'm pretty happy to say that I think that that will be gone next month. The next one I have also rolled in May is the Urban Decay, the Ulta Beauty Matte Veil Matte Eye Primer. So I rolled this in because it replaced another eye primer. It's the oldest eye primer in my collection, not because I don't like this eye primer and wanted it out. I actually love this eye primer. It's one of my favorites. But this is where we're at right now. You guys can see just how flat that is in this section right here. Even though it's like really poofy right here, you know, when you're squeezing a tube and the stuff is in the squeezy tube, sometimes you just can't squeeze this part flat right here. And I can feel that there is like some like give in that area that is probably air. I do have it marked, and I do believe that, to my knowledge, this would be my best guess as far as where it's at right now. And I haven't marked it every single month because It's also, when it's a squeezy tube like this, unless it's up here at the top, it's really hard to see where the marking needs to be, because you have to be able to bend it, but then it has to be an easy bend, you know, so there's that. I haven't marked it every single time. Right now, I do think that we're sitting right here, and I think that that's a fair assumption right here. I do, like I said, I do think that there is some wiggle room in this like triangle of like product slash air in here that could be less than what I think is in here for sure. But this is an eye primer that I use almost every day. I'm using it today, and I have no problems with this eye primer. I actually quite like it. Does a really great job of blanking everything out. It's not quite white. It's like my color skin flesh tone, so I even sometimes wear it on my eyes just to blank out the like discoloration of my eyes, or the like veininess, the blue hint on my eyes, and wear it just on its own with some eyeliner, and it looks quite nice. I actually quite love this eye primer. It doesn't get cakey or anything like that. So it will definitely be a repurchase when it is out of my collection, but because eye primers isn't a section of my collection either that is outlandishly overrun by eye primers, right? I think I have 4, this being one of them. I will repurchase it, but this eye primer rolled in May, like I said, at 12.34 grams of product. I had used it for a very long time prior to rolling it in. It weighed 10.45 grams of product last month, and this month it weighs 10.03 grams of product, which was funny to me that it weighs the same as the Almost Lipstick. But we only used 0.42 grams of product with this eye primer last month, and I think the biggest reason why is because I didn't really wear eyeshadow every single day. I put out a video a while ago now, I think it's been a couple weeks now, about my life. I'll link it up in the cards. I bought a coffee shop, and because I bought a coffee shop, my life has looked quite different, and I'm maybe not putting on makeup every day. I'm putting on makeup every day, but maybe not eyeshadow every day. Maybe I'm putting on some eyeliner, putting this on, putting like a different, like using a paint pot, or just putting some like bronzer in the crease or something like that, and calling it good as far as eyeshadow goes. So I'm not really using this every day because I don't need my entire eye to be blanked out. And honestly, when I get up in the morning, I maybe don't even care, right? So I'm only wearing it when I film. I also stated in that video, forgive me, because my filming has been really inconsistent lately. It's because I am really busy with this new business adventure. So I just haven't used this as much as I would have used it had I gotten the same amount of use out of eyeshadows as I do every month. I wore makeup 19 times in the month of September, but I think maybe 12 of those times was with a good eyeshadow look going on. So I just didn't use it as much. So 0.67 grams of use. I still think that that's really good for the amount of times I wore it. You know, 12 times underneath an eyeshadow, maybe 3 or 4 times outside of that without an eyeshadow. So it is what it is. I do think that this will be gone by the end of the year for sure. But that doesn't mean anything because I'll be repurchasing it at some point in time. Actually, I just made a gift card purchase for the gift cards that I got for my birthday at Ulta Beauty. And I do believe I purchased 2 Ulta Beauty brushes just because I want to try their brushes. I haven't tried their brushes. And they're relatively inexpensive, but they look and feel so nice. And because I purchased those 2 brushes, they had like some special gift that they were sending along with it. And that Ulta Beauty collection gift was a makeup bag with a bunch of stuff in it. And in it is a matte veil eye primer. So I maybe won't have to purchase another one. I don't know if it's full size or no, but still these last forever. Forever. Again, I rolled this in May. So it's been in this for 5 months, and I used it quite a bit prior to that point, and still here we are. So now that I'm done ranting about an eye primer, in June we rolled in the LOC Shadow Stick. I cannot remember what this replaced either, and this was a very small, like maybe sample size, but you know the Bobbi Brown minis? I think this was about the same size as a Bobbi Brown mini eyeshadow stick when I first rolled it in. So not super big when I first rolled it in. And with that said, I feel like this is still about half the size of what it was when I first rolled it in. So we're not seeing a tremendous amount of use on this, but I do think that we're seeing a good amount of weight coming off of it. I sharpen it probably once every single time we do an update, right? It gets sharpened at least once a month. It weighed 27.25 grams of product, non-teared, because I forgot to the first time. 27.25 grams of product when we rolled it in June. It weighed 26.14 grams of product last month, and this month it weighs 25.16 grams of product. So again, almost an entire gram of product used, 0.98 grams of product used. And that really stems from me putting it on the back of my hand and using a brush to pick it up and use it as a highlighter. I've also used it as an inner corner and a brow bone. I don't love it as a brow bone and inner corner, honestly, because I like a matte inner corner and brow bone, not a shimmery one. And it is relatively shimmery and pigmented and bright. It's also kind of like when I turn, you can see it's like peachiness to it. It's also kind of deep. So I don't love using it as an inner corner and brow bone, but I do like using it as a highlighter on my face. In that way, I'm using it a lot more than I might be using it if I were only using it as an inner corner and brow bone. So that makes me happy. I do think that this probably will be gone. I think we could probably get 2 more months out of this, but I do think it'll be gone by the end of the year. And that's another exciting moment for me, because that means probably 4 of the 5 products that I've just talked to you about will be gone by the end of the year and will be included in my Project Pan empties at the end of the year. So that's so exciting. This one was rolled in July. It is the Cover Effects powder. It is just a little tiny sample size. And here's another word of wisdom for you. When we are forced to buy powder that is this size, when this has lasted me for at least 3 months at this point in time, and granted, I guess I maybe don't wear powder like a lot of other people do, let's just be honest, but this has lasted me 3 months. And I'll put a picture in here or a video. I think I took some B-roll where you can see where the line is on it. It was full. It was a full sample when I rolled it in. But it isn't even halfway empty yet. And it's been in for 3 months. As I said, I maybe don't use powder as much as the next guy does, but I have been making it a point to use powder quite a bit more often these days because I have this in my Project Pan, and it still is just, it might be halfway empty, maybe. These are really hard to like gauge where they're actually sitting because it's powder, you know, and as you move it, it moves with the move of your, you know, how you get them. But I think I can put some lines on here so that next month we'll be able to see maybe a little bit more clearly. But the last couple months, I haven't been able to put a line on this at all. But as you can see, it's not even halfway empty. It is the tiniest sample size of powder, and it's not even halfway empty. And I've been using it pretty consistently for 3 months. I just don't get it. When we rolled it in July, it weighed 9.76 grams of product. Last month, it weighed 9.14 grams of product. And this month, it weighs 8.78 grams of product. I feel like we should have less than 8.78 grams of product in there. I feel like this will probably be with me in January still, because it's already been in for 3 months and it's not even halfway empty. So, I mean, put in your bets. Tell me what you think. We used 0.36 grams of product in the last 30 days. I don't really know what to say to that. The last 3 products were products that we rolled in last month in September. when we updated. And the first one is this, which is the Fenty Cheeks Out blush in Rose Latte. It's a cream blush. I rolled this in to replace the Ofra Cosmetics powder blush that I had had in my project pan for 2 full years. And it was still going strong. I still had like 5.74 grams of product of that blush left to use, and it was just starting to look gross, and I was tired of it, and it kind of pissed me off to even pull it out anymore. So with your permission, we did toss that guy in the trash can because it just wasn't going to any other home but that one, and rolled this one in. So I think that you can see that we did use, you know, a good amount of this last month because that pan was quite a bit smaller last month. Initially, I put it into my planned pan and it didn't have pan on it. And then the first month of the year, the first month of decapanning, I rolled it into decapanning as my easy peasy product or something like that, because it was going to be easy to put a pan in this blush. And it just wasn't easy to put a pan in this blush. It was in my decapanning for, I think I rolled it out of decapanning in July. So it took 7 months to put a pan in this blush. Now it's in here for the long haul. I'm hoping to empty it. It doesn't smell. There's nothing wrong with it. It still works really well. I've used it probably 4 times since rolling it in last month. It weighed 27.75 grams of product last month. This month it weighs 27.58 grams of product. So a usage of 0.17 grams of product. Like I said, I think I used it 4 times. Cream blush for me goes a lot quicker than powder blush. I think it does for everybody because I use like maybe my finger or my like sponge, and I feel like that just picks up a completely different amount of product than like a powdered brush does, right? So this might go quick, it might not go quick, but if Deck of Panning proved anything to me, it's that cream products aren't necessarily as easy peasy as you think that they are. So this will likely not be done by the end of the year, but I'm hoping to see a really great big pan in this by the end of the year. I also rolled in a Clinique lipstick. This, I think, replaced something. Oh, the Too Faced. I had a Too Faced lipstick that we got done with, a mini, that we got done with last month. Now, that mini had only been in for a few months, but I had used it quite significantly before rolling it into the project pan. I'd had it for many, many years. This one is also a mini. I got it in, I think, 2019 in a Clinique like gift box that was given to me by one of my peers at the time. And I have used it. It's probably my favorite of the 6 that came in that box, but there's still quite a bit of use on it. It is what is on the center of my lips today over the top of this lip liner. So even though it looks kind of peachy, it goes really well with kind of a mauve-y look, and I think it's just a really pretty color. I love that it's got a little bit of shimmeriness to it and neutrality, and honestly looks really natural on my lips. So I like using this lipstick. It just didn't see a whole heck of a lot of use in this last month because I was really, really hard focused on the Clinique Almost lipstick in Black Honey that I literally didn't pull for any other lipstick unless I was filming, and this one just wasn't the one that I pulled for very often. So last month when we rolled this in, it weighed 12.68 grams of product. This month it weighs 12.58 grams of product for a usage of 0.10 grams of product. So I mean, not very much at all. I wore it today. I think I maybe wore it one other time, and that's to be expected. But now it's the only lipstick in here. So I foresee this one going maybe a little bit more quickly. The last product is this one. This is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. This is a white matte eye pencil. I use it quite often under like crazy eye looks for a nice white out base to go underneath some of my more vibrant colors, or I should say used to use this a lot in that way. Now I am really sold more on the matte fluid eye paints by About Face. Not saying that this isn't good. I still love it. It still serves a purpose, but just not as an eye base anymore. So what I have been using this for is inner corner and brow bone, because it is a matte white, and it is, I mean, really, really stark. I think that you guys can see it just brightens up the inner corner really nicely. It brightens up the brow bone really nicely, blends into all the color that I put underneath it, or over the top of it. And I really love it in that way, and probably always will. I don't know that I will always have one of these in my collection anymore, but there was a time where I stated I would always have one of these in my collection. They're very, very good. The only thing that I have noticed about this recently is that when I use it as an eye base, I feel like it's a little bit more emollient than I want my eye bases to be. Not quite as tacky as I want my eye bases to be. And I don't find that it creases necessarily, but I also don't think it looks as great as the matte fluid eye paints do as a base anymore. So just use it as an inner corner and a brow bone, and I think it looks great in that way. This weighed 10.14 grams of product when we rolled it in last month. It weighs 9.85 grams of product this month, 0.929 grams of product used in the last 30 days. I've largely been using it as inner corner and brow bone. There has been a couple of days, 2 days to be exact, when I used it in tandem with the blues and greens in here, just to get use out of it, not because I needed to use it to make those pop, but that is where we're at with that product. So that said, that is all 10 products that I have in this rolling like project pan. I usually stick to 10 items. We have one that's rolling out, which means I need to roll one in for sure. But I also know that this one will likely be gone next month as well. So I wanted to roll in actually 2 so that I don't have to wait to start working on another product. Not that I don't need, I mean, they're my rules. So there's that. So the 2 products I'm going to roll in are these 2 products. I'm rolling in an eyeliner to replace the lip liner, as silly as that is, because it's not same, and I do try and stick to same. But I tried this Buxom liner a while ago, and I don't know that I love it. It is a Buxom Powerline. It is in the shade black, and it's all fine and dandy. It's not a bad eyeliner. I just use my pencil eyeliners for like tight lining mostly, and the shape of this makes it pretty difficult, honestly, to tight line with. It's a very thin, like rectangle liner. I feel like it should have been like a brow liner, but to my knowledge, it is for sure an eyeliner. I just don't know that I love that shape for an eyeliner. I do get that some people use pencil eyeliners, right, for making wings. I don't. I use a liquid one, so there's that. Maybe it's to be able to make a wing easier, but there really is not much left of this eyeliner. So I thought this would be an easy peasy product to throw in here in October when we only have 3 months left out of the year to, you know, try and get some use out of it. So this is going to roll in place of the ColourPop lip liner. And then I did not want to roll in another lip product because I still will have a lipstick in here even after these 2 lip products are taken out, right? So instead I decided to roll in a primer, and I'm going to roll in the e.l.f. what is this, Jelly Pop Power Grip. The e.l.f. Power Grip primer, mostly because this is where we're sitting at right now. And I feel like this is a primer that I could see vacate my collection this year, and I wouldn't worry about repurchasing, because not that I don't like it, because I do like it. It's fine, but it's just a fine primer for me, in my opinion, in what I like in a primer. So I wouldn't feel like I needed to go out and repurchase it right away. This primer then is also rolling into this project pan, which puts me at 11 products, but I think next month we will definitely see this one go, and it'll bring me back to 10. And I typically in November and December don't really like to roll in new products anyways, right? Because we only have 60 days at that point to get through a product, and I have a lot of product in here still, right? I do think this will be gone by the end of the year, but it might take me through December to get through. I do think that this will be gone by the end of the year, but again, it might take me through December to get through. And same with this guy. So I do think that there's still a lot of product in here, and rolling these two in saves me from having to roll in a product next month for this. And also saves me from having to worry about what I'm going to roll in that's only going to take me 60 days to complete. So I'll get 30 extra days with at least one of these items that I would be rolling in next month anyways. Neither one of these products are on my plan to pan list, which kind of makes me feel some sort of way. But I also know that that's just guidance, right? And I make my own rules. So, and these are two things that I know could leave my collection in the next 90 days. Easy peasy. So that said, I forgot to take weights, so I'm going to take weights real quick. So this one, as we're rolling it in today, weighs 29.37 grams of product. And the Buxom liner, as we are rolling it in today, weighs 7.28 grams of product. So really super stoked to have two new products in this. Really super stoked that there seems to be a really good array of products in my project pan. Sometimes I know I get carried away with picking 4 lip products and 3 complexion products kind of to go in, but I feel like I've got an eyeshadow stick, a bronzer, an eyeshadow primer, a powder. This would be another eyeshadow stick, right? So we do have 2 eyeshadow sticks, but we have a blush, we have lip treatment, we have lip liner, we have an array. Anyways, almost a full face. So I'm really excited about the progress that we've made in Project Pan this year. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on the products I finished, or the product I finished this month. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on the products that I'm rolling in this month to replace. And I just hope that your guys' fall is treating you well. I hope that you and yours are doing great. I hope that you are all healthy and safe and getting along as best that you can in this crazy, crazy world. I hope that you are all loving each other, being kind humans, and living your best life. And until next time, bye friends.